All right, TSL, let's get it. Is it possible to have the best of both worlds? Do I have to, in order to get to a future, does it mean that I have to abandon all of my obligations, everything that I want, or everything that I have right now to get to what I want? Or does it mean that I have to forego my future, my dream life, just to get through another day? And that's the thing we struggle with, isn't it? Both worlds. I have the obligations of today, but how do I get to tomorrow? And do I have to let go of either one of them? The answer is no. No, you can have the best of both worlds. And I'm going to show you how. See, if I were to ask you right now, what does your dream life look like? A life that you want. What's it look like for you? Marsh, this is the kind of house that I want. This is the kind of dream car I want. This is the fat bank account I want. I want to be able to travel all over the world. I want the security and the freedom to do whatever it is that I want to do. If I were to ask you that, immediately behind that, you'd hit me with the yeah buts. Yeah, but I got to pay these bills, man. I got to put in another 7 years at my job before I'm eligible for retirement. You can have the best of both worlds, and you don't have to give up either one of them. This is The Sales Life. I'm your host, Marsh Bice. And The Sales Life is where I will show you how to learn the number one skill you need in life, and that's your ability to sell. And the product that you're selling that is unlimited, that is the best product on the market, that is recession proof, that will make you wealthy, is the product of you. So I'm going to show you how to sell your way through life no matter what. Because think about it. Everything that you've achieved in life is because you sold your way there. And everything that you haven't accomplished in life is because you settled and you stopped selling. So how do you have the best of both worlds? I'm going to show you. Ryan Holiday is a well-known author today. You may know him from Ego is the Enemy and The Obstacle is the Way. 2 great books. He's got some other ones too. But he wasn't birthed as an author. He found himself in a situation where he had 1 year left on his contract at American Apparel. And he was frustrated. Holiday had this life he wanted to go to. And he said, I want to be an author. I'm done with this season in my life at American Apparel. And he turned to his mentor, Robert Greene. You may know him from the 48 Laws of Power. And he explained his frustration to Robert. And Greene told him, you can look at this time as a live time or dead time. It's your choice. See, you can look at this moment as a live time. What a privilege it is that you can use the season that you're in. You have 1 year left on your contract with American Apparel. So you can work within the obligations of the season that you're in and have the security of a paycheck. And in the slivers of time that you have, you can practice being a full-time author. Practice being an entrepreneur and all the disciplines that go into not having a boss, not answering to anyone but yourself. That's a lifetime. Our Green said that you can look at this moment as dead time. And dead time is where you just collect a check and you grind to a halt and start a new life. But see, it's possible to have both worlds. It's possible to actually weave in a future that you want into the present that you have. See, your present is a priority, but your future is mandatory. Because let me tell you something, no one is going to create a future for you. They can hand you one based on whatever it is that you do, but no one is going to create one for you. And if you want a different life so desperately, then begin to work in both worlds and use your lifetime to your advantage. You don't have to make laps in life. Life is not either or, and it's certainly not if then. If this happens, then I can get to this. It's not. So let's use a few examples because I'm a dude with examples. That's how I learn better. So let's say, for instance, if you want to be a personal trainer. And if you want to be a personal trainer, but you're stuck on working the paint department, you could sit there and say, well, one day this is going to end and then I can start being a personal trainer. No, you can be a personal trainer now. So what are the gaps that you can start filling in right now? A lifetime. So I understand I got to work 8 to 7 a day. Okay. But you have other time too, and gaps in between that you can actually start informing yourself and educating yourself and working on ways that you can become that personal trainer. What are the new exercises that you can start doing? Maybe you need to look the part of a personal trainer. Maybe that's the first thing. Maybe you're not way out of shape, but maybe you wouldn't hire you either. So maybe what you can do is you start working on yourself. You use the paint department to start getting in shape. You lift up a few extra cans. You do the heavy lifting, whatever it is. So what is it that you can do right now to start creating your future? What are some exercises that you can start familiarizing yourself? Because you can't train everybody who looks like you. It's not a one size fits all kind of situation, right? So using the Alive Time, what are the things that I can do? So if I do have older clients, if I have more obese clients, I know those kind of exercises that I can actually pattern for them. What are some meal plans that I can create for different people? See, this is Alive Time. You're not waiting to go out the front doors of Home Depot and then, oh my God, I'm free. No, you start working on your freedom. You create your freedom right now. It's possible to actually weave the two worlds together. Because see, when one world ends, when one season ends, another season has already begun. And see, that's how, if you work at it as a lifetime. So in other words, if you have a year left, or in your grand scheme of things, I have another 2 years, I got to be here. If that's, you got 2 years of runway to go to the lab, to work on different things. So in 2 years, this one ends, but in 2 years, this one doesn't begin. This one's already 2 years old. You see how that works? In your life, it's not an abrupt change. Many times people fail because they waited for a season to end and they abruptly started a new one and they weren't equipped to be able to handle it. So they reverted back to their old ways because they were not already in shape for the new season. You see how that works? So that personal trainer can actually start working on their physicality, start working on educating themselves, start creating meal plans, and start sharing tips and tactics every day on social media that others can use. See, you're building your base now. And so that way, when your future is ready to hatch, you're already hitting the ground running. Don't wait for something to happen in your life to start a new life. Create it now, and you don't have to let go of the life that you have now, and you don't have to forego your dreams either. You can put them both together. But it's just depending on what you do with the moment that you have now. Tomorrow starts today. So start creating that. And dude, even if it's 10 minutes, it doesn't seem like in the singulars, it doesn't seem like much, right? But over time, it's all the difference in the world, man. All the difference in the world. I had a buddy of mine tell me the other day. He said, "Yeah, I want to start a podcast." I said, "Well, then start a podcast." He said, "Well, I got to have some things come through first, then I'll start a podcast." No, you don't. Start a podcast. What are the barriers that are standing in your way? Nothing. It's free to start a podcast. 100% if that's what you really want to do. But see, if you're living in this if then contract, if your ifs are in the way, then your then will never come to fruition. If there's an if, there is no then. And that's what you got to look at. Here's your recipe. Start with free. Work toward what you want. No, start with free. Get to what you need. Work toward what you want. Start with free. What's free? What is the thing I can start on right now? I don't need permission from anybody. Nothing's standing in my way. I have all the resources that I need. Don't give me that, "Oh, well, I really need it." No. Start with free. Work toward what you need. You build in the reps. You'll need a few more things. Get to what you want. Makes all the difference in the world, man. For me, the podcast is going to be 5 years old this year, the sales life. Dude, I have a full-time job and then some. I'm a full-time parent and then some. I'm a husband and then some. But I still have the sales life. That's a must for me. But see, I started with free. 5 minutes with a cell phone. That's what I started with. That's all I had. And I had tons of inventory up here. So I started sharing that. And it wasn't until way later. I didn't have enough money for a computer. I was so broke, man. I had to go check out a computer at the library. And dude, I was making $100,000 a year. Broke, beyond broke. Couldn't even afford a laptop. But I would not allow that to stop me from starting my future. The sales life was so important to me. And as I went on, now I have the lighting. Now I have the tripod. Now I have the microphone. Now I have the computer. I didn't start with any of that. And so many times we want the end product to be the starting line. And it doesn't work that way. I mean, go back to your childhood. And you didn't have a basketball goal. You had a basketball. Your grandma bought you one. So what did you do? You found an old rim You nailed it to the tree with a piece of plywood that was in the back of your shed, and you had an instant basketball court. That's what you started with. That's the kind of things that you got to look at, man. You can have the best of both worlds. You can have your future, but it's not just going to come to you. You got to earn it every day, just in small, bite-sized chunks. The one thing I want you to understand is you don't have to own anything. You don't have to own any special equipment. Leverage the things that are all around you. Leverage the tools that are already available online. If it's clothing that you want to make, whatever, leverage those things. There are platforms that you can use without owning the equipment. Because when you rent other people's time, other people's platform, other people's equipment, when you can do those things, a couple of things are going to shake out. Number one, you're going to realize I'm onto something. Or you're going to be in one of those situations that says, this isn't what I wanted. And then you can adjust it from there. Now, I'm going to leave you with this. If your ifs are too big, this is super, super important. If your ifs are too big, in other words, well, if this comes through, then I can get on with my life. This is the dream life that I have. It won't, number one, it ain't never going to happen. But if you find, if your ifs are too big, then lower them down to the point where they offer no more resistance, no more excuses. And you keep ratcheting it down. Well, I need Walmart to come through and buy my product. That ain't gonna happen. Not right now, player. So you keep ratcheting it down to the point where, okay, I can start right here. What is the thing that you have to start with? Ratchet it down. And then that way that you get started. Because one thing is certain. I'd rather make mistakes than live with regrets. And the regrets that we have are not in the things that we did, or not in the mistakes that we made. It's in the things that we never even attempted. If you want to reach out to me, go to thesaleslife.me. There is in the bottom right is a microphone from me to you. Love to hear from you. Let me know what's going on in your life. I'm no hair, but I'm all ears. While you're at thesaleslife.me, there you will be able to find thousands of free resources to learn the number one skill needed in every area of your life. And that's your ability to sell, to persuade, using communication, curiosity, creativity, continuous learning and action, and productive confrontation. So there's blogs, there's videos, and of course, podcasts as well. A new episode just came out this past Monday, so be sure and check out that one. That one is about leveraging your everyday. It's the PBEs, the positive benefits every day. So what are the daily things that I can just punch at my goals? Really pretty much ties hand in hand with this one right here, with this episode as well. Episode's not very long, it's about 8 minutes long. So check that one out when you're working on your lifetime, and let me know how I can help you. Remember, the greatest sale that you will ever make is a sale you on you, because you're more than enough. Stay amazed. Enjoy our conversation that we had. I don't know, it's probably 5 or 6 episodes ago. Great conversation that we had. Coming back around to Patrick Tenney, author of 3 books, and his episode, him and mine, I don't think I said that right, but our conversation comes out next Monday. A wide-ranging conversation, and Patrick always brings the fire. Great books as well. So I super enjoyed the time that I had spent with both Catherine and with Patrick. All right, let's see. Catherine Brown, I often think of growth as being incremental, and I don't think that has to be truth. You can make big leaps. You can. I think you can actually make the big leaps, And sometimes the big leaps are in the small strides as well. So I think sometimes it looks like here, little small steps, and then boom, that's when your big leap comes about as well. Thanks for your input on that, Catherine. Patrick Tenney says, dead time is doing laps. It is. It is. We're getting from Monday to Sunday. And then Monday, we're going to start, okay, well, this week's going to be different. No, it's not. It's always going to be the same until you do something different as well. All right, let's get out of here. We all got to go to work. Remember, create the alive time today. The greatest sale that you will ever make is to sell you on you. Stay amazing. Stay in the sales life.